Can I ask you some questions?
Mm-hmm.
Just like, you can edit and stuff probably.
Yeah.
And you can edit my voice out. What would you say to someone who is questioning their sexuality and they're questioning their self-worth, if they think that they should place their self-worth in society's norms for heterosexuality?
Well, if you are out there and you're wondering if you're confused on your sexuality, it's something in the fact of, once again, it goes back to that finding you, and you have to be comfortable with yourself before you can tell other people. Of course, that's a really big thing. And sometimes it makes you more comfortable with yourself if you tell other people and they are comfortable with you. Because then you have that backbone in the sense of, a lot of the time some people are not comfortable with themselves just because they feel like nobody's going to be comfortable with them. They're not going to have any friends, anything like that. That's why sometimes people will cut themselves and stuff like that, is because they're not comfortable with themselves and they're not comfortable with their self-esteem because they don't feel like anybody else looks at them as something that's special or something that's of real major importance in someone's life. And I think that's something a lot of people really need to realize, is that, especially when you are open with somebody and you tell somebody the truth 100%, you are going to have that moment where you're going to be like, okay, this person right here, I truly now believe them, I understand where they come from now. Like, when you come out to that person, this is what they're going to be like. They're going to be like, I understand that person now, and I respect that person so much more. And like I said, not every time are you going to get the same results, but in the same sense, like, it's always good to have true friends and not the fake ones that are only going to like you for what they know of you. Why not just tell them the whole truth?
What would be your advice for telling someone how to come out to their parents and other loved ones that are close to them that have believed that they were straight and they may have some stipulations about homosexuality?
Well, that's like, for instance, what I did with my parents when, before I came out to my parents, I did a lot of research. So I looked on the internet, and I think the major thing is always be prepared for the worst case scenario. So, like, before I came out to my parents, I actually told my best friend first. And I told a lot of people at my school, but I did that a little bit differently than a lot of people do. But I suggest that you at least tell your best friend and say to them, hey, I'm going to do this tonight, and if the worst case scenario happens where I get kicked out of my house, can I have a place to stay? Or something like that. Always have some backup thing, because you don't know how your parents are going to take it. And if your parents do take it in the sense of, like, my parents took it, it's a little nerve-wracking, because in the sense of, it's not in the sense of, I don't want to say it's easy if your parents just kick you out, but it's a little bit of a different situation. So if you have those parents who are going to keep you there and they're going to question you and they're going to question saying, I thought you were straight, this doesn't make any sense, because that's exactly how my parents were. They were like, you're straight, you were straight the entire time, like that's what we thought of you, and that's how we thought you were. And like, it's so, you have to come at the perspective of, when you're telling your parents, come at the perspective of, not that, don't come at them with rainbow flags, come at them with middle ground. Because if you come at them with middle ground, you're going to be so much more successful, because you won't be throwing it in their face, but at the same time you'll be coming at them with saying, I understand that you guys are not going to understand this, but I just want you guys to support me. And it may take a while for them to even support you, but just give them time and let them see who you truly are, and eventually, hopefully, when they truly see who you are, that's when they'll say, okay, I now understand. And like I said, it may take a week or two, but more than likely it's going to take a long time. It took 2 years for my parents to reveal the elephant in the room and start talking about it with me. And that was only after a lot of pressure from me and a lot of talking. And so it takes a lot, but it's something that once you do it, it's nice to have parents that you can go and talk to.
What kinds of words of encouragement could you offer to people who have come out and their parents don't accept it, have made it clear that they never will accept it, they don't want anything to do, they've basically disowned their child?
There's a lot of services out there for a lot of different people. It depends on where you live. Is it still recording? Okay. What time are we at?
13.
13. Okay. So there's a lot of services out there for a lot of different people, depending on where you live at and stuff like that. Like I know, for instance, here in Springfield, there's an outreach center for youth that the youth can go to. They can get food and stuff like that. At that sense, it's going to seem like you're going to go through some really hard times, just if you do have to go through that. But the big thing is to have friends that are going to be there for you. And if you have friends, you can make it through. And even if you don't, there's so many other resources that you can use today. There's a lot of LGBT resource centers and stuff like that that are really important to a lot of youth and really make it to the point where it makes a lot of sense, or helps them make a lot of sense in their life, and helps them with that. So you will go through hard times. And I mean, I don't have a lot of experience with it, but in the same sense, I have friends who have been put into similar situations like that, and it's hard, but it's something that you can make it through, and don't let your parents kicking you out choose or define your entire life.